All right, that'll do it. Good afternoon. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the stream. It's me, Digi. We are live and we are in American Truck Simulator. It has been a while since I actually rode in this sim on stream. I think the last time I did that was probably sometime in December? It had to have been December because that's when the Louisiana DLC dropped. And I had in mind to do a long haul from Louisiana to to California, like to LA or San Francisco or something. But when I checked into American Truck Sim, I did not see us in Louisiana. We wound up heading to Harrison for some reason. I forgot exactly what we hauled up here, but we did get up here. And now we're going to take some used Coca-Cola packaging to Fresno. And hopefully we'll have enough time to get over to San Francisco, which I believe we will, because this long haul is going to take us about 29 hours and 14 minutes of sim time, which translates to roughly a about an hour and like 20 minutes, maybe an hour and a half of game of actual real time. It is possible that it might take closer to 2 hours depending on any delays that we experience along the route, but hopefully that won't be an issue. And I think probably the most technical sections that we'll face will probably be dependent on if we have to negotiate any tricky mountain passes. So there we go. That's basically it in a nutshell. And we also have real brands. I know, real brands. This was a leftover of a convoy I did with another streamer. I think it was Scotty Tahati whose convoy I jumped into, and they had some mods installed like real brands. So, like you don't see Walbert, you don't see buy sell like sell plan. You don't see sell plan, you don't see Walbert, you don't see home store, and I might get nostalgic and I might miss those, but we're gonna run with the real brands mod, and we're gonna see whether or not we actually enjoy the experience. But let me go ahead and actually tag in because we do need to make sure that we actually get going here. And it's a GPS destination, but it shouldn't be too far from where I am. Let me just make sure we got audio here because it's like I like second guess myself on a regular. Okay, I think we're good. I think we're actually good. Also, for some reason, the other screen I have is really behind. So let me see if I can enable. Let me see if I can enable. Oh, low latency is on, and that window's so far behind. Hang on. Okay, okay. I wanna say this is better, but I don't know for a fact. So we'll um we'll do the best we can. And again, a good Saturday afternoon to everybody. Hope you guys are enjoying yourselves. We are back at ATS and we're about to do some long hauling out to Fresno. Okay, those are the hazards. Been a while. It's been a while since I hopped into ATS. I'm kind of happy I did this today. I was debating flying FS 2020, and I might do that later off stream. Maybe hop on the VATSIM network and go check out what's cooking in like the Southwest US. But also, again, I wanted to do this, and I kind of felt like its time had come. It's literally been a little over a month since I streamed trucking on stream, and basically I just said, hey, let's go for it. And this is going to be a little weirder and a little cooler, maybe a lot cooler, because, because again, I'm going to see brands that I actually recognize. It it's no joke. Like, I spent the past, what was that? When did ATS release initially? Was it 2016, 2017? I want to say 2017. I spent the past almost 9 years in the sim, largely with the fakey do brands. And again, believe it or not, like I said in Discord, or like I said just earlier, that branding is legit nostalgia to me. So to say that I might miss it is not a mathematical impossibility. um, it's kind of fun seeing, brand approximations that keep a company from having to pay out licensing fees and whatnot. So having a mod that actually does that for me, that actually gets the real brands back in, it's great. But it's also a little, I guess it's gonna take some getting used to, like buying a new pair of sneakers and wearing them for like the first few days. What's that piece of advice some people tell you? Like, you want to buy a new pair of sneakers like the week before you go on a vacation or something? I don't know. I don't know. But we're here. So everyone, hello. Good afternoon. We are in Arkansas and we are on our way over to the Coca-Cola plant to get some used packaging. We're going to take over to Fresno because I'm guessing Fresno has the, I guess, regional hub for recycling it. I don't know. I'm making this stuff up as I go. I'm having fun. So we're going over to Coca-Cola and we're going to go get some packages. And who knows? Maybe after stream I'm going to run down to the convenience store and buy some Coca-Cola. Branding. I don't know what I'm on today, but hey, I'm having fun. Yeah, like this is rarefied air for me. It's usually not something that I do. I'm like hardcore team home store and like Burger Town or whatever that is. You know, Pizza House. So that's what I usually go for. But again, wishing everyone an amazing Saturday afternoon. I got another work week in the books yesterday, and we settled in. I I went out to go fetch some necessary things, and the next thing I know, I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna get some dinner. So I picked up some pizza, and we had a nice dinner. Actually, that was a couple of nights ago, I think. Yeah, that's what it was. But yeah, depending on how today works out, I might I might go out and do some more things. I might. You never know. Okay, hook up. I wish there was a way for me to see an overhead view of the the connector, and the trailer, so you could actually, align perfectly and do the things. But I mean, that's neither here nor there, I guess. So, it's just a question of me wanting to get more skill, more skilled at doing that. But I guess, real truckers don't do that anyway. So, unless they have sensors that help them connect more easily to the trailer they're about to haul. Let me know in chat if you know that's actually a thing. I don't know. Maybe you guys do. I don't know. But at any rate, we are now loaded with cargo. We're on our way to Fresno, and it's going to be something like the next day at 10-ish when we make our arrival. So we're going to see the sun rise, we're going to see the sun set, and we're going to get there in the dark again, unless there's an issue or we have to detour extensively. But the beauty of today's stream is, even if we have to detour extensively, this falls well within my my stream window for this afternoon. So we got time on reserve. And again, before anybody says anything, I was seriously considering hopping into FS 2020 and doing a flight in the 787, maybe like Denver to Phoenix or Denver to, like, San Diego or something. But I just figured it's been so long since I actually rode a trailer on stream. It just makes more sense to me to enjoy this. And I also have a better setup right now, so I can way more easily keep in touch with chat. And that's just how it is. I'm glad nobody was on the turn lane, because I went way too, I cut across that a bit too much. Yeah, we're on our way to Fresno. This is the deal for today. Fresno, and then we'll see if we can get to San Francisco by means of San Jose. I'm not expecting to get to San Francisco, but if we can do it, that would be wonderful. Oh wait, I'm going this way. Excuse me. Alright, taking some US routes to what I believe will eventually be I-40. I do not know for a fact when we'll hook up, but I have a pretty good estimation, or at least a gut feeling, that we're going to get there. I think this trailer is going a little bit less slow than I want to go, but I'm also going to hit a 55 mile per hour speed limit, so on top of the fact that they're going to be merging into my lane, I'm set. But also slowing way down. The turn wasn't that hard, but maybe they had cargo that's fragile. Fragile. It must be Italian. Bonus points if you know that movie reference. And man, do I miss Christmas. At least a little bit less than a whole bunch, but it went by so fast this year. It legit went by so fast. How was everyone's week? Mine was relatively zippy. I had a somewhat busy week with additional learnings and whatnot, but at the same time, I did actually do some work as well. So some project work is now in the books for this week as well, and I'm happy about it. It didn't start out the way that I had anticipated or wanted it, but at the same time, it worked out nicely. It worked out nicely. there were quite a few things that I thought about this week with regards to ongoing work and personal development that made me think about what I want to do in the future. And I don't know about anybody in chat or anybody watching the replay, but if you've known me at all, then basically I I do my best to be as ahead of the ball as I can be. I don't always succeed, but I try my hardest to do a good job at work, a good job at home, a good job anywhere that I need to, for the sake of doing the work. And the past couple months, I've been doing my best to try to get better at learning, trying to get better at being in a better position by studying up on new tech and doing things that are kind of cool. I feel like I accomplished that this week. I spent more time growing my skill set and coding and understanding code than I had in the past several years. And it started, believe it or not, with a simple desire to want to do something fun and not feel like I was burned out about code. Which, if you're a member of my Discord at all, was the initial quest I started, which was to build a video game. Now, grabbing coffee, BRB, you got it. You got it. I might pull over at a rest stop at some point and get some coffee, or might just wait till I'm done streaming. It's okay. Even if I drink coffee at like 4 or 5 o'clock, it's not going to be a major deal breaker, because I usually stay up late. Good to see all of us, like. Yeah. The thing that started the new adventure of trying to do a better job coding was this concept of me saying, "Hey, let's have fun coding a video game." So I started with this idea of saying, "Hey, can I create a video game?" And what happened was I used that excuse. To leverage AI assisted learning and tech that I knew but didn't know to start working on the project. And that project is now further along in the last couple months than virtually any other game project I've ever tried to do, which is amazing. And it's helped me understand some practices, some disciplines that I've tried to implement with regards to coding or making anything. And I've always wanted to do stuff like that. It's just that I've never actually gotten my ducks in a row, so to speak. And barring some more sprite work and implementation of graphics, which I might do either tonight or next week, I will probably be at the stage where I can have a technical demo of that ready to go in another, I'd say, 2.5, 3 weeks. And then once that technical demo is done, what I can do is probably start figuring out how to port that to a different ecosystem entirely. Something like the Amiga ecosystem, something like the Nintendo ecosystem. And basically the point is take something I've made, take systems that I'm familiar with, and then make them work on a different ecosystem or platform entirely. Now, hopefully most of what's involved should not require me to have to rethink the fundamental logic of how things work. There may be some variables, some types that I might have to redo. There may be some coloring challenges that I'll have to get past. But as long as I don't try to do something like porting it to, I don't know, like the Tandy 1000 or something, I have a feeling I'll probably be able to port it to the Amiga and probably be able to port it to the Nintendo without too much difficulty. I mean, if I really wanted to, I guess I could try porting it to the Commodore 64 as well, especially since the Commodore 64 Ultimate is now a thing. But at the same time, I'm not worried about that. I think, in fact, the first thing I want to do is just make sure I can port it anywhere. So I'm either going to shoot for the Nintendo port or the Amiga port first, and then we'll see where we are. But again, those assets and that project is a passion project. I have, even though I got tempted to a couple times, I have zero interest in turning that into a moneymaker. And that's because the work that I do as a software developer IRL is its own self-perpetuating, money factory. So I can focus on getting good at the things that keep the lights on for my family while also having those projects that allow me to, stretch into some new things. So I think we'll keep it that way for the foreseeable future, at least for the game programming aspect. The next thing that I'm probably going to do when I get to a comfy spot with that, or even in the midst of doing all that, is I'm going to try to figure out how to keep sharpening my day-to-day, project-to-project skills. I already have some independent research projects that are helping me think about the work that I do on a regular basis differently. Maybe even the concepts themselves differently. So details aside, those have helped me grow significantly, and I don't think those would have happened easily had I not chosen to start doing the video game development. The video game development gave me a chance to think about programming as fun. Think about programming as something that I wanted to shoot for. And the motivation wasn't there at first. I mean, I wanted to create a video game, but I was just like, I don't know. And I think part of the reason why I'm as far as I am, outside of Yahweh's blessing and encouragement, is also that I just decided, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to go for it. No matter how ugly it is, no matter how bad I am at doing it, I have to start somewhere. And I'm so glad that I did. So that's a thing. And the other independent research is a thing. And the other things that come are probably going to come as I start to hopefully line up new employment opportunities. I don't know if and when that will come. But my theory and my hope is that by continuing to research, continuing to try to learn things, continuing to try to code things, the deal is I'm going to grow my skills and go from, gee, I hope someone likes me, I hope I have enough experience to do this, to, hey, I see what you're doing, it's cool, I've done similar stuff, here's a link to my portfolio, look at it and tell me if you have questions about the projects that I have, and we can talk about the code, we can talk about the lessons that I've learned, yada yada yada, and then you decide. And also, that will help me with some of the typical issues or failings I have in the interview process. Hey Lyles, good to see you, my friend. Welcome. Great time for a night drive. This is a haul from Harrison in Arkansas to Fresno in California, and you're going to see the sun come up, and then you're going to see the sun go down, and then we're going to arrive at Fresno most likely at night. And the only reason we would arrive at Fresno in the morning would be if I pulled over and got some rest virtually, or if there were enough delays in the process of getting to Fresno, like, closed down or detoured stretches of road, for example, that me having to take alternate routes increases my time on the road. I'm keeping my eye on the stream just to see if there's any issues with the latency or whatnot. Just let me know if you see anything weird. I decided to try using the Streamlabs OBS platform versus Stream Elements, and we'll see whether or not this actually winds up being a good or a bad choice. But I mean, other than the occasional, stream to stutter, which isn't happening on my PC, we're fine. At least I think we're fine. Hopefully you are all having a good afternoon today. We are well en route to Fresno, and I'm assuming we'll probably get there, we'll probably get there before 3 p.m. local time. Probably. And by local time, I mean actual real time. The map scale in general in American Truck Simulator is something like 1/19 scale or 1/20 scale. So if I went from New Orleans to San Francisco, the total time in the chair would be roughly 3 to 4 hours, give or take any delays that we come across. This is Harrison to Fresno, so it's going to be a bit shorter. Yeah, so I don't think we're going to see daylight when we get to Fresno. I think it's going to be dark. Also, I forgot that I opened up another window on my older laptop, tablet really, so frame rate differences are probably going to be negligible, if at all. But this is actually pretty cool. I haven't actually long hauled in American Truck Sim in a long time. Like a very long time. Or ETS, but ETS I usually reserve for Project Japan ops, where I'm basically hauling cargo in and around various prefectures of Japan, like driving in Yokohama, in Tokyo, in Osaka, in Kobe, in Kanazawa. So driving in the States, driving in America is definitely an interesting thing, because you see things that are atypical of an experience in other countries, and also I'm more accustomed to seeing the things on the road that I do see on the road because I live in the US. I am in the mid-Atlantic portion of the USA. I am not in Maryland and places where we are going to be experiencing, or they are going to be experiencing, wintry weather today. It's actually pretty clear where I am, so amazingly enough, we are good. I was expecting to get some kind of weather. I was expecting to get some snow or a wintry mix. Thankfully, no wintry mix. I'd rather take 12 inches of snow over anything with ice. So that's fine. You know, they can keep that, or it can go somewhere where nobody gets hurt. But yeah, no preset. So fine by me, at least for right now. But yeah, I've got 2 Tickets to Paradise. Old song. It instantly played in my head. Wow. Wow. No idea why. That's kind of funny. That's kind of funny. Alright, we will not pull off the road to go through a toll booth, which seems to be blocked off anyway. I'm just going to go drive under these things, which will automatically deduct. There we go, $11. Actually, that's a bit of a bargain for a trailer. Rock on. Hey, Lost Lake. Welcome back, my friend. I'm better than I deserve. Circumstances are still not where I'd like them to be, but we're taking a break from flight simming, and we are hauling across the good old US of A to Fresno, California. We've got some used cargo containers, believe it or not, and we actually have the Real Brands mod installed. And here's the thing. The thing of it was, I remember a couple of weekends ago, I decided to actually go convoying with a friend, Scotty Tahati, who's a streamer. And in order for me to go on Scotty's convoy, I had to install a bunch of mods. One of the mods was, in fact, a Real Brands mod of some kind. So I forgot about it, and then when I loaded into the sim, I said, hey, look at that, I can pick Coca-Cola? Oh, that's right. I must have actually forgotten to remove the mod. So I still have it installed. So you're going to see actual brands. If you are a regular patron of trucking streams on this channel, then you're going to see actual brands that you recognize if you are familiar with brands in the States at all. You know, probably actual Home Depot, Pizza Hut, Chase, all these brands that actually exist, like, you know, maybe even Exxon or Sunoco or something like that. And I said it at the beginning of the stream. I said, man, like, I've been trucking for almost a decade in American Truck Simulator using fake brands, like, you know, Cellplan, Global Mills, Walbert, Taco Kingdom, you know, Pizza Town, Home Store. and I thought to myself, I'm like, wait a minute, am I gonna start missing that? Because I mean, the running joke on the stream whenever we streamed American Truck Sim was, hey, you know, good old Walbert, good old Home Store. Like, yeah, don't take away my fake new brands. But today's the first long haul where we're gonna see nothing but real brands, and it's certainly gonna be a bone of contention in one sense, but I don't know. I might actually keep that mod installed. but all things being equal, I'm happy it's here. I don't know if it's sticking around, but I mean, the fact that I was able to easily install it to do convoy with someone is indication that it's easy to put in, possibly easy to remove, and hopefully maybe a harbinger of things to come. I mean, you know, if if American Truck Sim was like redone or version, whatever they're on, the next version actually said, hey, guess what? You don't have to have a mod installed anymore. You're going to see real brands all the time. Then I wouldn't mind the fake brands disappearing, especially since it would take a lot more work to bring those fake brands back, even though there might be a grassroots effort to say, no, I want my fake brands. I want my Pizza Town back. And somebody might create a bot for that, which would be hilarious and great. But I'm liking the real brands that I see right now. It is growing on me. I am gonna say that. It is growing on me. Yeah, this sounds fun. I'm on board. Now, in terms of, mod development, clearly also, I am a content developer as well. I'm really trying to get back into the groove with scenery development for Microsoft Flight Simulator, and I'm starting to feel like I'm in a good place again. You, you were you were thinking of full circle for the mod to actually restore the fake brands, right? Yeah, that's what I was basically inferring. But yeah, that would be hilarious. But I also do, of course, scenery dev for Microsoft Flight Sim, and I want to release the scenery that I'm working on for Lafayette Regional in Louisiana. Oddly enough, haha. And I want to, I think, transition to 2024 scenery development, but I've I've had just not issues, but basically I've run into problems with I've run into problems with my experience flying Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 and Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Like there's a marked difference between them. When I first got Flight Sim 2024 in November of 2024, it took me a while to figure out, configure it, use it, and the whole streamed experience was, new to everybody, and I enjoyed it. I used it, but there was definitely this learning curve and this performance tweaking that was taking place, where it was like, man, like I'm doing my best to enjoy this, but there's definite difference going on. With FS 2020, the sim had been in use now at that point for literally a little over 4 years. There was an established mod ecosystem. We really kind of, got into the groove with that virtual plane, if you will. 2024 still has some growing pains, but they're definitely doing what they need to do to actually fix the issue, to fix issues that are presented. The only issue that I find with 2024 that might be a genuine bone of contention is that they've removed support for DX11. So DirectX 11 and DirectX 12 are basically frameworks for graphics rendering, graphics quality, things like that. When they went from DX11 to DX12, I think they introduced things like ray trace shadows, but the problem that my system has with DX12 is that it tries to take more out of my graphics card than my graphics card has reason doing. So I am finding myself having to adjust the graphic settings lower in order for me to actually enjoy it. Whereas 2020 has a lot more performance capping that lets the experience be great, even with the technically, less innovative graphics that it had. So the question is, hey, like, should I actually, get back to streaming in 2024 and reinstall all the local mods back on 2020 because it's just a better sim? I don't think so. I think a better graphics card will probably take care of that. Also, with me upgrading 2024 to Premium Deluxe at some point, if I can afford it. it would allow me to fly some of the old aircraft that I wasn't able to fly before. So that's a thing, but that involves money. Okay, I feel like getting a ticket from a state trooper. I do not feel like waiting anymore for this accident because I'm either going to have to get myself towed to some kind of service or I'm going to have to forfeit this delivery. Now, I'm not stuck at an intersection where I'm making a huge turn. But I think the problem is AI at merge points seems to have difficulty making a decision. I don't know if I stick around another 5 to 10 minutes whether or not this is actually going to make up its mind. So, like I said, I got the money, and whether or not the state trooper says, hey, you're doing something stupid, I'm not waiting any longer. So, if you will excuse me, Coca-Cola needs me to get this packaging over to them. So, I'm going to go past this traffic. And like I said, the trailer I think is either too close to those cones and doesn't want to move, or it can't seem to make up its mind. Also, I seem to have lost my stream. So, if you can't hear my voice, say something. But hold on. Let me check the stream. Let me refresh my window here, because it's probably just a window issue. Let's see. No, stream's still there. I think for some reason the browser went wonky. Ooh, also my eyes irritated. Wow. All right. So, there we go. One of those instances where it was just like, okay, AI had a decision to make. Excuse me, the cars had a decision to make about merging, and the trailer just said, nope. Thank you, Lost Lake. Again, I'm not sure what happened or why, but I haven't had something like that where the browser stopped taking the feed. But I don't think we dropped a significant number of packets. I certainly didn't stop and restart the stream, so I think it was just the platform. Maybe I'm wrong. But yeah. In case I was just talking to myself for the past like 5 minutes or something, or nobody heard me because the audio cut or something, I was basically saying, hey, the current state of my enjoyment with Flight Sim is that I want to enjoy 2024 even more than I currently do, but I'm kind of limited by two things. One is the version of FS 2024 that I currently have. It's standard, so there's certain categories of planes that I don't have, or certain types of planes I don't have, certain planes, and also I don't have the money to buy some of the planes that I want to fly again that are payware. So I'm waiting on that. And the general direction of Microsoft Flight Simulator is that ongoing development is going to be for Flight Sim 2024 and no longer Flight Sim 2020. So, I mean, people like me can probably release airports and scenery for both sims if we want to. There's technically nothing stopping me from releasing scenery for 2020 and 2024. And technically, if I keep releasing scenery for FS 2020, it should be 100% compatible with 2024. The only potential kicker would be that the scenery for 2024 would have its satellite tiles misplaced slightly. So if I put down airports with buildings and spots, you might notice the shadows or the satellite images being a little bit off. And the 2024 version might have some default buildings in places that the 2020 scenery excluded. Like I think what happened with my scenery in, I think, an airport in Canada, just outside of Edmonton, Villeneuve, which is Charlie Zulu Victor Lima. So, things. But again, that's neither here nor there. I can safely say, to an extent, even if I've scrubbed many of the bespoke airports from FS 2020, so that every single airport I fly to is like default, which I don't think is the case, it would still be a better experience than some of the older flight sims that I have. So if I want to fly the 737-600 or the 787, I can still fly in FS 2020 and enjoy the experience, and not worry about flying FS 2024 and not having the best experience. I think I'd be fine. I'll live. We'll be good. But yeah, other than wanting to write more code and wanting to make more airports, the bottom line for me is I'm also trying to enjoy the experience some more. And again, if you are on my Discord and you've seen any of the posts that I've made lately, then basically my deal is I'm getting back into retro gaming. Predominantly retro arcade gaming. And the nostalgia's high on that for me, but basically I enjoy revisiting some of the arcade games that I sunk quarters into, like copious amounts of quarters into. And I like playing them, I like the challenge of them. And in general, the whole concept of arcade games is different than some of the games that we play today. And I've talked about this briefly, extensively, on stream, but a quick recap. If you play an arcade game, you are going to play something that is designed to be difficult, designed to make the people that created the game, get a bit more money out of you, because you are going to experience a more challenging game, by design. And when you create an arcade game, you're going to need to create an arcade game port, which is basically bringing the arcade game to back in the day, a less potent computer or console. So, the terminology arcade and arcade port, those two things go hand in hand. So say in the late 80s and the early 90s, when systems like the Super Nintendo or the Nintendo were bringing games to home consoles, you were still going to, arcade game centers to play games that were more graphically rich. You were still sinking quarters into things like, Gauntlet, into things like Street Fighter 2, into things like, I don't know, Cruisin' USA, which we're doing now, just more slowly. And you didn't have this kind of power at home. You had, at best, back then, the people that had the money had 486 PC DOS computers. The people that were really doing interesting work probably had Macs at home, or PowerBooks for like laptops and things like that. So you weren't actually doing massively potent, massively graphically powerful gaming unless you were one of the kids whose parents were like, ultra successful and wanted to get you the best system, or excuse me, not the best system, just some of the most expensive ones, and you had like a Neo Geo. So basically for you, every single time that you wanted a game, the game was the same game that was played in the arcades, because the arcade was literally a Neo Geo system. So basically you had a system whose very MO was, okay, the same game the developers created that runs in the arcade machine is the same game you get to play at home. Of course, with an American MSRP for the Neo Geo somewhere between $600 to $700, which would basically have equated to what, like $1,100, $1,200 now, and games that cost between $250 to maybe even $400 each, which again would be somewhere around like the $500 to $600 mark now. You basically were buying what some people might consider to be, entire PCBs in cartridge form, where you basically just took the cartridge out, stuck a different cartridge in, and instead of playing a 16-bit title, you were playing a full-on arcade game. Which still blows my mind to the extent that you had the ability to do that, but the issue wasn't really different. The issue was that you basically, what they were basically doing with the Neo Geo was the more expensive version of what we're doing now. Like, the developers make the game, they release it, that's it. And like, if you have the hardware, you can run it. Now, we don't have arcades anymore because our home consoles got more powerful, our PCs got more powerful. We're at the point now where basically our home PCs are consoles, and basically your delay, not delay, but basically alternate route. We're at the point now where our home consoles are our PCs, and basically, you buy a PS5 or a PS6 when it comes out, if it hasn't already come out now, you're basically buying a desktop computer that is specifically configured to run games. And you can probably, if you're really smart, reconfigure your home console to be a desktop PC. Like, figure out what the cool kids are doing, turn it into an operating system, like do your word processing on a PS6. I don't know. But like, the lines at this point are so blurred between what a home console and what a game system, like a PC system, are, that the rig that I'm playing this game on might as well be a home console, because I do a lot of my gaming and simming on it. But I can also do other things as well. I can stream content. I can program. I can obviously take care of typical things, and essentially it is what it is. Like, it's where we are. I still find it nostalgic that old arcade games make me think of times when I was younger, and when one of the things I wanted to do was just figure out how to beat Karnov in the arcade, or figure out how to be the best driver in Cruisin' World. And basically that was it. Like, I was doing my best to be a better player, because the fiduciary advantage of being a great arcade game player is that you can do one credit clears, stick a quarter in a game and take it all the way until you beat it. And some people were skilled enough to make that happen, some people weren't. So essentially that was it. And that was the stage on which I grew up playing games like that. Yeah, I mean, where we are right now, we have graphics cards that cost more than some people's computers, and we're playing great games on them. And we don't we don't go to buildings anymore. We don't go to places to play a bunch of arcade games back to back. Like, we don't. There are museums now, or places that are strictly dedicated to preserving those arcade games, so that future generations of people can actually play them, as opposed to letting them fall by the wayside. And the bundled portable consoles that you see on places like Amazon.com, and probably like Temu or like AliExpress, you basically buy them, and you buy the system, and they throw a bunch of arcade games in, and you also play them. Not the best delivery method, as I've learned, but that's a topic for a different time. Also, I'm 25% fuel, so I'm probably going to want to refuel my truck at some point. Probably. But yeah, that's some of the stuff that's crossed my mind's horizon with regards to old school gaming, and some of the things that I want to revisit or spend more time doing. Not extensively, because there's other projects I have and other responsibilities I have to take care of, but in the moments, in some of the quiet moments, in some of the different places that I find myself in, that's what I'm shooting for. Being able to play old games and enjoy them. Because old Nintendo games are hard. I used save states, but I finally beat Ninja Gaiden 1 for the Nintendo again. It's a challenging game, and supposedly the Xbox 360 era Ninja Gaiden games are like ridiculously more difficult than even the old Nintendo games were. I'm not interested in going in that direction, but I like the idea of a challenge. I just sometimes don't like to do it myself. But NES games are right up there, that challenge level where it's like, well, I beat this before, maybe I should try to beat it again. Oh man, I do like me a good K-On! Stream. K-On! Was like big on the the full quiet game, but like he's going through the whole NES Quest thing, and he's played so many games, and he has a way to go, but it's great to see him tackle games that I would not have otherwise considered playing. Like, I never heard of Legacy of the Wizard. I never heard of... I barely heard of Tubin. And I never played Might and Magic on the Nintendo. So, having him playing that instead of me means I get to sit back with like a cup of tea, or, like a snack, and hang out and chat and cheer him on and crack jokes. Loads of dad jokes, clearly. And do the thing. I think I'm going to pull off here and get some gas. All right. All right, wait for this car to go by. And we're good, I think. But it is interesting to watch him play. games like to the extent that it's like, wow, like I haven't seen anybody play this. So it's cool. All right, let's fill up. Also, again, hello to everybody that joined or is lurking. We like our lurkers here. They help bring up the quote-unquote channel algorithm, as it were. And I do like me having some people to entertain. Also, a welcome invitation for anyone that hasn't done so. Consider chatting me up. Glad to say hello and to get to know you. I am I think I think next year will be my 10th year streaming off and on. Thank you. I do think it'll be my 10th year streaming. And basically, that's kind of mind-blowing. Kind of. Because it means I've been talking to people for the past literally 10 years across the country and across the world. And I wouldn't have thought about doing that 10 years ago. I would have been like, oh, wait a minute. Like, let me go check out somebody else, or let me just go check out some YouTube videos. This is like, you know, it's been quite the adventure. By the way, chat, just let me know if the stream quality is good or if the stream looks a little choppy. I am looking at an alternate window on an older tablet, so it's possible it's not going to capture the signal as smoothly as I would like it to be seen. I don't think we have issues with stream quality right now, so I don't think there's a problem with the stream. The stream dipped a little while ago, but it didn't. I don't think it actually stopped. It was just my browser window had to refresh. Also, if the levels are bad, if the sound is too loud, or if my mic is too loud, just let me know. I'll try to adjust things to make the experience better for you. Okay, great. A little while ago, one of our friends of the channel, Kev Mikwa, he told me he kind of like gave me a 30-second tutorial and just said, hey, you know, bring up your levels. You want like your sim level to be squarely in the green, like, and you want your microphone to be in the yellow, not in the red, but in the yellow. Like, you want to be able to still be above your sim volume, but you don't have to be afraid of having your volume be so high. And I took that advice, and I'm personally glad I did, because it's hopefully making future streams less an episode in opposites and more like, hey, you know, this is just the sim, this is just my volume, boom, as opposed to going, man, I have to bump up the volume every time I want to hear the sim, but then his microphone is so loud. So I'm hoping this, in one sense, bridges the gap between the sim sounds and between my microphone. Also, I think in general, part of the issue with sound quality is my use of, or my, what's the word, inflection, well, volume on the mic. Now, I can most likely invest some money into at least a slightly more upscale setup, but that does take money, which will hopefully be something I will come across in bigger quantities soon. but that's life. That's life. Oh, and for those of you that are curious, those of you that have followed me for a while, I did put an update in my recent updates about Mrs. Digi. She is going to be soon, TM, having another medical procedure done to help hopefully remediate her pain. And I am praying to the Lord that this actually helps her and gives her the mobility and the opportunity that she needs to get back into a spot where she can move more and feel better. She said this for a long time. Like a long time. And when I say a long time, I mean literally the past 8 or 9 years. So I can basically say without hesitation that puts her stuff in the category of chronic condition. And I've had conditions I've dealt with in my life where I've had to deal with a problem for a period of time. And everybody has their struggles in terms of medical conditions or maladies. Some are more pronounced than others. Some just hide it really well. And I remember having issues walking for a brief period of time and not being able to walk or not being able to get around very easily. Man, let me tell you, like it either grates or it is surprisingly debilitating mentally. Like, you're not gonna want to do absolutely nothing, but yeah, let me bottom line it in terms of how you are as a person. If you have to wake up every day, like every day, 4 years to the same condition, that hurts. That kind of robs you of a deal. I don't even know. Like I wouldn't even have the first thing to say about the kind of pain that people like that experience, and that sucks. It does take energy to deal with that, and she's dealt with that for years. It's my prayer in Jesus' name that this is the year that starts going away. Like, genuinely, seriously. It is my prayer. And if any of you are having difficulty with that or just having a real hard time with life right now, I want to tell you that I'm glad to have you aboard, and I am also going to pray for you that my Heavenly Father pays attention to your concern and gives you rest, gives you healing, gives you hope. As I've said on stream before, I am a born-again Christian. I want you to know that you do not have to be a Christian to be a patron or a person that takes part in the stream. I welcome you here, regardless of who you are, what you believe. I do want you to know that I'm a follower of Jesus Christ, and that I do believe in God, in Jesus, that having a personal relationship with God through Christ is the way to go, and that it lets you live with purpose in this life and to go into heaven and be with God forever. And if you don't do that, when you die, you go to a real place called hell, which is eternal separation from God. And I want everyone I know to come to heaven with me and to spend eternity with God and Jesus, because you connect with your Creator for all time. But I also want people to make up their own minds and decide for themselves. I have a Discord where I talk about things like that, so if you have interest in that, I don't have a Discord command, but just let me know and I'll drop the Discord link in chat if you'd like to talk more about it there. Hey, I'm not gonna lie, again, I want everybody I know to know Jesus, but I understand some people just choose not to. I never want to shove what I believe down anyone's throat. I always want to give people the opportunity and the decision, the choice to make that choice for themselves. I want to let you know, regardless of what you believe or choose to believe, I welcome you here today. So thank you. Thank you for spending your time with me. Thank you for hanging out with me as we as we continue our journey to Fresno today, of which we are about halfway through, which is crazy. Lost Lake, I want to tell you, I am privileged to know you, my friend. Thank you for spending your time with me today. Thank you for including me in your day, whether whether you're like, going through like the newspaper and like playing crossword, or basically just like hanging out and watching the stream, or getting ready to go somewhere. I want to tell you, I appreciate you. Thank you for being here today. We have been in New Mexico for a while now, and I'm not sure if we're in Arizona now. Oh yeah, I think we're in Arizona. We're getting close to it. We got a ways to go. Once we get through Arizona, I think we're going to dip through Nevada really quickly before we get to California. I don't even know if we're going to touch Nevada at all, honestly. We are hauling used packaging, and if you're curious, this is what it looks like. We're hauling some Coca-Cola trailers. I don't think we have any soda, but if I was being real, this rolling billboard is making me want to get a soda when I'm done more and more. So the subliminal advertising is like working overtime today. Crazy, absolutely crazy. Well, thank you, Lost Lake. Thank you. Based on what I see in front of me. Oh, okay. I thought it was like a wall of clouds. It's just hazy. I thought we were gonna go through some rain. I mean, that might change later, but I thought we were. Given the arid nature of the landscape that we're rolling through right now. Ooh, helicopter. Never been so thirsty during a stream. I do have my water bottle with me, so technically speaking, if I had a hydrate command, I'd probably have to pull over and take a swig. But if there is another opportunity for me to get some gas, or fix up the trailer, I might take a swig. I'll be honest. My drinking game is not as good as it used to be. Like a couple of years ago, I would be, very much aware of like my need to drink water during the course of the day. And I actually just drank some. Which is good, because I really kind of started to feel how dry my mouth was. So that was actually a well-timed and highly appreciated reminder, my friend. Thank you. I will, again, most likely make myself a cup of coffee after the stream, because I think once we get to Fresno, it's literally going to be like a short hop to San Francisco if I can find some cargo to take there. But even if I don't find any cargo to take there, I'll probably still go with no trailer, just a truck, because I haven't actually driven to San Francisco in ATS in a while. I think I've flip-flopped back and forth between Arizona and Oklahoma or Texas, because I've been like managing garages and bringing on more people. I think I have like somewhere between 8 to 10 drivers now that make me money, which is good. I remember for a long time it was just me, and then I got like one driver, and then I got a couple drivers, and then like It was literally like within a couple of months of simming, those 3 drivers gave me enough to really just start deciding, oh, okay, you know what? I can buy another truck. Oh, okay, I can buy another garage. Like, and then boom, 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 boom. Like, one thing led to another, and now I literally have like 8 drivers, which is superb. Superb. In Euro Truck Sim, I think officially run out of drivers to hire because I have garages in multiple countries with loads of drivers doing cargo runs. So I'm either going to roll the odometer over on my income if I just like do nothing but drive around while everyone else actually does my deliveries for me. But I think I've spent money on trailers, and I think what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to start going through those trucking garages and locations and start upgrading the trucks that they have so that they can do more diverse loads, and maybe also get them trailers as well. Maybe. Vehicle gross weight 77,442 pounds. Oh, she chonky. This cargo is big boned. Thank you. St. John's. Not St. John's, New Brunswick, and not St. John's, Newfoundland. But there is a St. John's, apparently, in Arizona. And as Arcus used to sing, JoJo is a cat from Tucson, Arizona. I think that's how the song goes. Arcus being the retro game streamer that likes to play Nintendo games and is practicing for the Big 20, which I believe is in 3 Saturdays from now, 4 Saturdays, something. It's coming up, and it's crazy that we've already ripped through January so fast. It's unbelievable. Petrified Forest National Park. Do you think anybody's scared to go? Do you think they're petrified? Dad jokes inbound. Woo. Or I think I just came into Arizona. Something like that. Okay. That was hard to resist. Oh, you know it. Man. Actually, there was an AI generated dad joke that got my attention. It was a dad joke that went like this. I tried to make a dad joke about Wagyu beef, but it was a little too rare. Something like that. But yeah, I was kind of impressed. Yes, dad jokes served fresh here. Or at least, if not when I'm streaming, when I'm watching somebody else's stream. Kaon is a stream hub for dad jokes. with flights departing on the regular. Oh my word, Dunkin' Donuts. Oh my gosh, now I want to go out and get donuts. Oh no. Oh, this is horrible. This is horrible. Okay, so I've been hauling used containers for Coca-Cola, which like makes me want to get soda, and now I pass a Dunkin' Donuts truck, and now I want donuts. Oh my goodness, my workout routine is in jeopardy. Not that I'm hardcore right now, although the snow that I had to shovel last weekend was definitely a gym. And the weekend before that, I shoveled, so that was a gym too. I literally did some calisthenics, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is easier for me to do than before, which means that my muscles, they got stronger. So that's a thing. But man, donuts, so tempting. So tempting. Oh man, craziness in Crazy Town. All right, so we are at about 2:30. So yeah, we have about 30 some odd minutes to go IRL time before we get to Fresno, which means if I wanted to go for going to San Francisco, that would be something that I could do on this stream. I think the chances are higher, barring any issues with delays or difficulty with me reaching my destination, we'll probably wind up in Frisco, take some well-deserved virtual snoozage, and then wake up and see the place during the daytime. Because remember, we're probably going to get to Fresno sometime around like 10 or 11 o'clock, which means that me snoozing is probably at least going to make me wake up around like 7 or 8 in the morning if I pull over to a rest area and then do the things. The snoozy things. The snoozy things that are, snoozy. But yeah, that's where we are right now. We're well on our way to Fresno, and it's not that far away now. Incredible that we left Arkansas, and we are within striking distance of our goal. Landscape changes. I think I'm on I forget exactly what version of ATS I'm on. I know I use an older version for ETS because I do Project Japan, but the version of ATS that I have installed is most likely the newest one, and they have done things to make their, for lack of a better phrase, Minecraft users unite. Their biomes are better looking, and the transitions between certain kinds of biomes or certain textures, they're better, or at least they look a little bit more interesting, realistic is the phrase, maybe? All I can say is I'm not looking at the landscape going, this again? No, it looks real. It looks ultra realistic and pretty much resembling what I'd see probably if I was in this area. Now, caveat, I don't live in Arizona, so I can't confirm that, but it does look realistic. Based on the Americana that I have seen and the pictures from other people that are in this area. Oh, indeed. I did see some preview footage of Horizon 6, and yeah, Japan is going to be, big fun, or at least to me it should be big fun. And supposedly the angle with the Horizon Festival is that now you kind of have to work your way into the festival. You don't just immediately get invited and show up, which is kind of cool. Like you kind of have to prove your mettle, but at the same time, um, I'm gonna be I'm gonna be transparent. I'm not a huge fan of story in Horizon games. I think the one exception that I might make was when the story mode in Forza Horizon 4 with the seasons was a thing, and you were doing like the stunt driver story. That was cool. But otherwise, by and large, I like my racing somewhat these days without too much other stuff around it, which is probably why, even though I said I was going to buy the preview release of Tokyo Extreme Racer earlier last year, I didn't. I have Assetto Corsa with the Shutoko Revival Project mod, which you might see if I stream it sometime in the near future, which I don't tend to these days because I like talking to chat, and having to, race around a corner at high speed while also talking to chat is tricky, clearly. But I do still like Assetto Corsa with the, Japan Highway mod, because I'm getting better at driving the rear-wheel drive, rear-engine Porsche, and that takes patience. It does take patience. So, getting good at a car that, by its very nature, is quite unstable takes commitment. But the benefit that I have to that is, instead of loading into the multiplayer server and going, I hope that my car isn't being used by anybody else, most folks like the all-wheel drive cars, like the Nissan R34, R33, the GTRs, the Hondas, the Toyota Supras. So my Porsche, because it's rear engine, rear wheel drive, apparently doesn't get a lot of play, which means I can easily slide into it and drive it around. And no, I'm not the fastest car on the road. There are other cars with more aggressive tunes that will either out-accelerate me or out-race me. But being able to drive a car like that that's highly technical and that doesn't have things like, advanced traction control or all-wheel drive, it makes the experience of driving the car more rewarding. And that's what I think I take away from the experience now. That's what makes me appreciate it more now. So before, when I started playing the Shutoko Revival Project map, the thing for me was, driving in the interior. Most of the time, like over 90% of the time, over 95% of the time, I'm typically in interior view. And usually just over the steering wheel, so that I focus more on the road ahead. I mean, I could be more realistic about it and sit further back in the cockpit so that I see, my hands at the steering wheel. But I generally like being closer to the hood so I can just focus on the road in front of me, which is probably where my eyes would naturally drift towards when I'm driving a real car anyway. But I was saying, the challenge of driving a rear-wheel drive car like the old Datsun Z or the Porsche, like a modified Porsche 911 Turbo, is that you have to pay attention to the signals the car is communicating with you. And since I just have a gamepad, since I don't have a a steering wheel, a force feedback steering wheel, and like gas and brake pedals, I have to pay attention. I have to pay careful attention when I'm going around curves, when I'm unloading and I'm going into a curve and the car kind of just wants to swing the back end around. You really have to be patient with your inputs. You have to be so patient, and it's so easy for you to lose control of the car. So for me, to put it to another way, the simple fact that I can make it around a track without wiping out is a win. Like, I don't necessarily care about being faster than the guy or gal that's racing me. I just want to be smooth. I just want to be consistent. And because I don't have a steering wheel, I don't have a force feedback steering wheel, I don't have the telemetry that most regular drivers have. I don't have the kinetic force that tells me, oh, whoa, 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 I'm coming into this turn way too fast, I'm being pushed out of my seat. Like, I don't have that. So that is, in and of itself, another layer of challenge. Okay, we are coming into Cali, which is a little bit crazy. And now I'm restricted to a 55-mile-an-hour speed limit because that's the truck speed limit in California. Some places the speed limit overall is higher than 55, but trucks I think are restricted statewide. Also, we have an agricultural inspection station. Welcome to California. We gotta check your stuff. Let's go. It's a thing. I've been through here mostly at night, so I don't recall seeing the way this place looks outside of... Ooh, train. Outside of me coming through here in the dark. Not gonna lie, I'm so glad I did trucking today. I wouldn't have been regretting flying a plane, but I am so happy that I drove a truck. Inspection finished. You may continue driving. Thank you, virtual person. And just like that, we're back on the road again. We never went off the road, but we did detour from just rolling on through. 5:55 p.m. So basically just past midnight-ish, we will get to Fresno. I'm either going to be on the 101 or I-5 to get to San Jose and Frisco. I mean, at some point, I'm probably going to transfer to the 101 because I have to, whatchamacallit, I'm not going to take any bridges across. Ooh. Hey. Ooh, look at that sky, so pretty. I'm not going to relish saying goodbye to cold temperatures when winter turns into spring, because fall and winter are my favorite seasons of the year. And if I had to make a decision between them for top season, fall is my S tier, and winter is like just below it. And spring and summer are tied for meh. I don't like things getting warmer. I don't like things getting more stinky. I like being in a place where the leaves change color. I like being in a place where, you know, snow falls. I mean, I definitely got my fill of that this winter, and we certainly needed the precip, that's for sure. So I'm happy that we got the snow that we did. I would like some more. I might be in the minority here, but I would like some more before we say goodbye. I have a feeling that we will. Sorry, I had to scratch my ear. I have a feeling that we will. Maybe not as much as I'd like there to be, but I have a feeling that we actually will have a little bit more snowfall or a lot of bit more snowfall just because of the way that the weather systems have worked this year. I mean, sheesh, New England's going to get it with this nor'easter that's going up the coast right now. So there's that. What I'm hoping is that we have a relatively controlled summer in terms of, you know, wet weather versus dry weather, and that we can actually make it through to fall climbs again. Because that's how I feel. That's that's what I want to get back to. Is what I'm saying. That's me. Now, am I going to appreciate the transition to spring? Hey, breath in my lungs and free change of scenery without going anywhere. Well, we'll take the challenges as they come because honestly, that's all I can do. Okay, got about 25-ish minutes left before we get to Fresno and offload our cargo. Look at that gorgeous sunset sun. It's been a very interesting run, and appreciate all of you that have stuck around and that are lurking. I generally stream flight sim based content once a week. On times or periods where I have more time off, I sometimes tend to gravitate towards twice weekly or maybe even more than that, but usually once a week. Not for nothing, Lost Lake. I hope you guys have an extremely boring summer. I do not want to see fires or hear about fires going through your way, and I pray in the name of Jesus that that does not happen to you or to anybody in your beautiful country. Seriously. We had a drought in 2024. It wasn't horrible, but it was enough that we were just about to probably have to start to ration our water resources. But it lasted for a while. And we got to the point where mowing the lawn was literally hazardous. So, what was it? I think the last time I mowed the lawn that year was September. Yeah, cause like even through October it was dry, really, really, really dry. It kind of got concerning. I'm not gonna lie, but thankfully, by the grace of Yahweh Elohim, we got back to some wet weather, and the following spring was quite wet, so that balanced out. Yeah, I'm happy that I streamed trucking today, Lost Lake. I like, I like doing that. And this is the golden hour, so I'm not going to resist the temptation to, what is it? The temptation to do the things. We're going to take a picture. A picture. Ooh, here we go. Here we go. What is it? I guess I gotta fly it up manually because I thought I could actually translate the view. So do that, and then do that and take a picture. Where's the picture? Button 2. There we go. Great. And take a picture of the truck. Ooh, look at that. Wonderful. This looks absolutely superb. All right, great. Back to the road. Dude, that's like golden hour. Like you like I had to capitalize on that. I wanted to take a picture of the sun and like the road being like lit up by it, but I kind of missed my chance. But that was too good to pass up. Occasionally, I do post ATS trucking and ETS trucking screenshots on my Discord. So, again, that should be something you'll see a little bit later. If I do post them today, which I probably will. It's been a while. It's legit been a while. So, that's a thing. Okay. So, a third of 40 minutes. Half 40 minutes is 20. Yeah, so we got like about somewhere between 12 to 15 minutes of real time. And again, like I said, we're going to be pulling into Fresno soon, TM. And it will be roughly midnight when we get to our cargo destination. So, I will pull over somewhere, take a snooze, and then visit Frisco in the morning times. And I almost wonder if it would be cooler for me to drive up through Oakland so I can take the Bay Bridge into Frisco and then back down to San Jose. I don't know. I'm not going to take too long though, because again, we're getting to that kind of like golden hour in my day where I'm going to start to make a decision as to whether or not to extend. Normally, if I stream on a weekend like this, it would be from like, it would kick off right around now, and then I'd do a flight, and then I'd wind up somewhere. But basically, what happened was, woke up, had breakfast, hung out with Mrs. Digi real quick, and then basically, she asked what I was going to do. I said, hey, I'm streaming. And she's like working on some stuff. And then basically, that was about it. Like, we got to the point where it was like, oh, okay, great. We're here now. And now I'm streaming. But this is atypical of my stream experience. I usually start right around now and stream for about 3 hours. So that's a thing. But actually, I want to say this is actually a great way for me to stream on a weekend, because if I'm going to do something or go anywhere, this still gives me the opportunity to do that, and it gives me a chance to catch up with all of you. So I don't mind this earlier start, and I might make that a staple for future weekend streams. Tomorrow might be a fam time or personal hangout, so I can basically guarantee you won't see me on stream. And the next time that I stream is probably either going to be Friday or Saturday, depending on the scenario. It might be Friday or it might be late Thursday, briefly, for fun, because I might be busy on Friday and Saturday this next weekend, not this one. Details, of course, on Discord, and I'll try to keep you guys informed. I was thinking about streaming last night, but usually my workflow is if I'm not kicking something up by like 8 o'clock on a Friday, it's probably not going to happen. And I don't apologize for it, because I like hanging out with certain streamers. I like taking care of my responsibilities. I like, paying attention to the cats, which I will most likely do when I wrap up. And just kind of like, reconnecting, so that I don't just sit in front of a computer. I say this to some regret. I remember being more involved with streaming when I kicked off. I was streaming when I started the journey to affiliate. I was trying to stream like 6 times a week, and that was unsustainable. But when you start and you have 0 followers and you're trying to grow your brand, then exposure is basically your calling card. You have to get out there. You have to put yourself out there and become a visible streamer. And you do that basically by perpetuating your streams over and over and over again, until maybe you connect with someone, and then even if you get one person to say one thing in your chat once ever, that instantly elevates you from somebody that has 0 viewers all the time to, okay, now someone came over. Now the algorithm says, oh, okay, this guy's got something. Let's go ahead and give him some more traffic. And then that basically starts the cycle. And after I basically joined the affiliate program, it took me, I think, 3 solid months to get to affiliate. And I mean, it wasn't from absolute 0. I had a channel before, but I did not do very much of anything with it. So I didn't have absolutely 0 presence, but I wasn't actively doing that. And me getting extremely active meant that I actually started bringing people over. But that's besides the point. I poured, I think, a bit too much into trying to make it something. So, like anything that happens, when you over-index on something, other things are not as front and center. So there were certain things that I was doing back then excuse me, I take that back. There were certain things I wasn't doing back then that I'm way more conscious of now, like trying to be a support for my family, trying to be a support for Mrs. Digi, trying to do a better job by knowing more about the job that I do. All that stuff. I wouldn't say I had delusions of grandeur, but I certainly didn't understand the mental load that being a streamer required. And that's probably especially true of what? Being a streamer when there aren't that many people in your channel. I mean, let's be real here. I'm still not that popular, and I probably never will be. But the concept of streaming to nobody is probably even harder than the concept of streaming to 1 or 2 people. So the deal is, you need a lot of energy and commitment to get a streaming platform launch done. And if you don't have that, it's going to be hard for you to get started. But I think in general, most of the time, I think it's just going to boil down to figuring out when you can be consistent. And consistency is going to get you going. Is it hard to be consistent? Absolutely. Hello, case study right here. It's really hard. It's hard to be consistent because it's just like, life, or your category isn't, say, the most popular one. It's probably way easier for somebody that streams Valorant or Counter-Strike or whatever it is that's incredibly popular to get people to show up. But I don't stream those categories and I don't want to. And I have, in one sense, successfully dodged a bunch of the sponsorship efforts where you get paid, or theoretically would be paid, to stream titles that you don't normally play. It can be rough streaming to a goose egg. It can also be rough streaming to things that you don't want to do. And do you know why? Because it shows up in how you stream. And I'll be the first person to admit there have been times when streaming was not something I wanted to do, but I was under this impression that, hey, like, I really just want to like move my goalposts forward and earn more. Full stop. This is gourmet potato chip fund. If that, like, I I have I have buried the idea of ever being a professional Twitch streamer. And hear me out. It's not because I'm putting myself down. It's because, simply put, I have moved on so far from the concept or the enterprise of Twitch being this kind of like career for me, that the idea of me trying to earn a living on this is going to be countercultural, literally, to what I use the platform for now, which is reaching out to people, hanging out with friends, spending time together, helping each other get through the incredibly scary, rough seasons of life. And yeah, sure, it's nice to be somebody with 50, 375, 1.9K viewers and thousands of followers and people that literally pay for you on a monthly basis, and you get checks weekly, and you get sponsorship deals and this, that, and the other thing. But when I burnt out from flight sim streaming in 2022, and I kind of rebranded temporarily, or I rebranded doing scenery development on stream, what happened was I found this new place. And I think what happened was I realized, okay, flight sim streaming was what, the 275th most popular category on Twitch. Like, I wasn't gonna ever pull in numbers as high as, like, a Counter-Strike tournament or like a really popular streamer. And we're not even gonna get into specific streaming categories, so don't ask, I won't answer. But I was like way, way, way down there. And then I decided to rebrand and do scenery development. So we're talking about going from being a relatively highly unpopular category to basically being a virtually non-existent one. So I got to the point where I was just like, hey, I'm doing this. I'm doing this because X, Y, and Z. And essentially, I shouldn't expect any traction. And kind of when I put that to bed, it just let me chill. To see 10 people a month. It's like, I used to get bothered I used to legitimately get bothered by doing flight sim streams and reaching out to people and having like crickets, having barely anybody say anything and do that. And so I think what happened was when I rebranded the first time, I said, okay, well, what I do right now, there's pretty much no way this is going to be breakout or huge. And then when I thought about how I felt about low viewer counts and engagement, the one thing that happened to me was I think I decided to over-index on making Twitch be about friendship, about communicating with people and really being active. So when that happened, what changed was I started being more vocal about my streams and saying, come hang out with me, and not trying to push some narrative about, hey, let's do something, and I'm going to put in a whole bunch of not so subtle reach outs to you so that you can actually give me money or give me attention or cheer bits, and have you get sick of seeing me and unfollow and go somewhere else. I'd rather hang out with people consistently for the purpose of hanging out with them. What does that mean? That means everybody within the sound of my voice right now who's tuning into my stream never, ever, 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 ever has to worry about giving me any kind of money, or following, or chatting, like ever. And the channel, by design right now, is set up to be a place where the vast majority of quote-unquote, popular view counts are going to come and die, because I have verification things that you have to go through. You have to be verified in order for you to be able to chat. You have to be a follower and be verified to chat within a certain window. Otherwise, you basically have to be a member of Twitch for a time long enough for the heuristic, if you will, to suss out people that come on who, for reasons that I may not understand, decide to be more negative. And the moderation that I have on this channel and the mods that hang out are here and deputized to be able to maintain that particular focus or interest. This is not something which by default is created for the purpose of setting up a highly popular, highly accessible platform where bots come in and offer me the chance to get cheap viewers. Our viewers are premium viewers, always, whether or not I have 2 or 20. So, pretty much, no. It's not designed to be a stream where a lot of people come and drop, lots of money. If you want to give me a 10,000 bit cheer, you are welcome to do so, and I will graciously accept that. But the statistical probability of that happening is probably low. Probably. Most likely. Now, there are friends that have regular subs to me that I appreciate. And again, like I said, Gourmet Potato Chip Fund and Occasional Tank of Gas Fund. And those, given my particular setting, are both important and appreciated. But I'm through trying to do this for any kind of popularity. And it's like I said before, You don't have to believe the same thing I do. You don't have to subscribe to the same God that I subscribe to. I subscribe to Yahweh Elohim through Jesus Christ. But make no bones about it. The community that we have here and the the curated experience that we have here is not the kind that rewards, like token attendance or stuff that we kind of want to do just for the sake of trying to get money. I do, stream after stream after stream where it's like, oh, okay, I guess I'm not making any. And that's just how it is. And sometimes people have difficulty being able to chip into a subscription on a given time. And sometimes people just don't want to do it. And that's fine. Like, again, I've started to get more and more comfortable with this issue of knowing that, hey, it's not gonna this is not gonna be the income producer that some people are going to expect it to be or want it to be, including myself, and that's fine. All right, we got a load of experience, and we actually went to level 36, and now we have finally filled in all of our skill points. This took about 7 years. Wow. I gotta know where I go to from here in terms of skills development. GG's, thank you. Now, let's go ahead and you know what? The easiest thing for me to do is to go right back into the sim and go to the front gates and try to get a job from here that's going to go to Frisco. I don't know. But we're going to try. We're going to try. If I can't see a job in here that's going to take me to Frisco, I'm going to figure out how long it's going to take to get here. Hey, do you need help? Okay. Why don't you sit down? I'll bring in the rest of you. All right. Hey, Chad, stand by. Let me just take care of Mrs. Digi. I'll come back in a bit. All right, chat. Thanks for hanging out and for waiting for me. I have returned. Mrs. Digi came in and is now chilling with me. She was not feeling great, so I took some time to make sure I could bring her stuff in. The motto on this channel is she comes first. So if I had to stop a stream, that would have been a stream right there. She's fine. Uh, I'm sure she says hello, and we're gonna see if we can actually keep going a little bit to Frisco at least. We were gonna look for jobs and then basically see what we wound up. Oh, of course, because I was gonna get there. That's right. Thank you so much, everybody, for hanging out. So let's take Freight Market and see what we can do to get to Frisco. We do not have jobs to go to Frisco. We have a job that goes to San Diego. I might argue going from San Diego to San Francisco, but I don't think we're gonna do that. Okay, all right. So that informs my efforts now. Now I know. Now I know that I need to go somewhere else to get to Frisco, or even to San Jose. There we go. I can take a yard truck to San Jose, and then I think from San Jose we can go up the peninsula. The peninsula? Yeah, digigeography. Whew. We could probably go up the peninsula to San Fran, or go back down around the way to Oakland and then take the Bay Bridge. But again, one task at a time. All right. So we are not going to get any jobs from here because you guys don't have a job that takes me to San Jose or to San Francisco. So San Sia. We're going somewhere to get something. We need a yard truck. And again, everybody, thank you so much for hanging out today. Thanks for being a part of the experience. Again, it was over a month since I had actually been in ATS trucking, so it's nice to actually be back in the sim and enjoying it. There we go. Just had to check something. So I think we're going to hop back on Highway 99, and we're going to go up to wherever it is that we have to pick up the yard truck. We're going to go to San Jose and hopefully deliver it there. I almost wonder if it's cooler to just keep going and get to San Jose for like sunrise. I mean, San Jose and Fresno are not neighbors, but I don't know if I'm going to have that much of a time shift between here and there. Oh, this is a 2-lane. Got it. Look at that, 76. Yeah, this has been an interesting stream. This has been an interesting experience in ATS with not live, real world brands. There we go. I haven't lamented the loss of Walbert or Global Mills or Pizza House or Pizza Town or whatever that is. No, Taco Kingdom. I think it's Taco Kingdom and Pizza House. Yeah. I haven't lamented the loss of those fake brands, although honestly, they are a part of my virtual sim world Americana. So, you know, I'm always going to speak favorably of them because this is the kind of goofball I am. Period. Oh wait, nope, I'm pulling off here. And yeah, seriously, thanks to everybody that's been hanging out today for the whole ride. I am touched that you would actually hang out with me this long. But I'm also glad that I chose to stream trucking today, because it's just, I remember now. The reason I streamed trucking today and not flight sim was just this kind of like, almost, I'm not going to say a stupid explanation, but it was definitely something which made me think and made me say that makes sense. If I'm streaming flight sim and I want to kind of like mentally map out what that's going to involve, it's going to involve, you know, a lot of brain work at the beginning, starting up, getting the airplane ready, flying it. Then the stream turns into a talk show for about an hour or two. And then after that, you start getting ready to land, and then, like, you go full brain mode for a few minutes, and then you land, you taxi to the terminal, and then it's like, oh, okay, we're done now. Click. Which is both funny and introspective, because it's like, I thought to myself, do I want to engage my brain hardcore for, 2 or 3 segments of the stream and then, stop at that point? Or do I want this kind of like steady cognitive burn of driving a truck and talking to chat and just kind of watching the scenery roll by and be way more engaged than I would be if I was, like, on autopilot in an airliner? So that's another reason why I chose it, because it really was a conscious decision to mentally keep my brain humming along, basically. And I'm glad I did. It was just like a more stable environment for the opportunity. Alright, so I think I'm just picking up the truck. No, I have to come here. Alright. Where is it? Yeah, gonna go to San Jose. And where are we? We're on the other side. There we are. Oh, I see it now. Alright. I got it back in. Okay. Two jobs Saturday. Or maybe 3 if there's a job I could take from San Jose to San Francisco. Otherwise, I'm just gonna ride free into San Fran from San Jose. Yeah, it turns out I really had to back in here. There we are. Okay, careful coming out of here. Tight quarters. And right down this roadway. Alright, some silos here. I don't know what they're holding. I don't think this is agricultural. I think this is, I don't know, chemicals. right, round two, 12:59 a.m., which is probably going to take us into San Jose just around 4. Which basically means to me, if I'm going to go into San Francisco from San Jose, that it would probably make more sense to just get one more load of cargo and then basically just get to Frisco and watch the sun come in, which in one sense is actually pretty well timed. And I can, snooze 3 times and make more money and then be done. But it's not a major deal breaker. Not if that doesn't happen. So again, to everybody that just stopped in, welcome. We are in American Truck Simulator. We just wrapped up a job from Harrison in Arkansas to Fresno in California. We delivered used packaging and got promptly tempted to buy soda and consume donuts. If you don't believe me, watch the VOD. We passed a tractor trailer hauling a pink Dunkin' Donuts trailer, and I'm like, oh no, now I want donuts. Which is both funny and introspective. But had fun with that. I did have fun with that. We are not hauling Coca-Cola products anymore. So I suppose the desire to drink carbonated beverages is going to wane somewhat. But man, having real brands in my sim is hazardous to my wallet. It's okay. I think I wasn't missing. I think I was not paying attention earlier and missed my green arrow. There we go. There it is. And freeway, the 180. Okay. Well, okay. I guess that's good then. I saw your last comment, Lost Link. That's funny. Dude, I still have to make myself a cup of coffee post-stream. So, that could be a problem. That could be a serious problem. Seriously, Lost Link, thank you so much for hanging around here. Really appreciate you. It's seriously a privilege to have you here, and everybody hanging out and lurking, and keeping my count from being absolute 0. It probably wouldn't have stopped me necessarily from streaming, but I think I would have been done once I got to Fresno. Or I just would have said something like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and finish up offline. See ya." Click. And don't think I haven't pouted before and been like, "Wah, no one's paying attention to me. Wah." I think that's something that every single streamer has to face at some point. I think. But it's all right. California has certainly treated us nicely since we came into it, and hopefully San Jose will give us some nice vistas before the morning sunrise. The only question left in my mind is now whether or not we're going to cross the Bay Bridge to get to Frisco, or whether or not we're just going to go up the peninsula and go past Silicon Valley and watch out for any software development places and be like, oh, hey, hey, could you use a programmer? No, Digi, I don't think it works out that way. Definitely not the sim, although that would be interesting. That would be. It would be. It's like, hey, yeah, saw your stream a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, you were talking about you were being a programmer and, like, you could code this. Yeah, let's talk. That would be hilarious. Or at least mildly funny. I don't know. I was, oh my gosh, did anybody see that billboard? Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, well played, Internet. Oh my word. Excuse me. I can't believe that billboard just now. It was a McDonald's ad with a burger on it, and what it said was, "You can't run from us forever." Oh, that's just next level advertising. Oh my word. This has turned out to be quite the stream. Not gonna lie. Oh my. That was hilarious. Was that not funny? That was funny. So, Digi here formulating his post-stream plans. Man. Yeah. Let's see. Bullet points. Remove real brands mod. No, actually, I think the hilarious thing about it was that it's just made the stream that much more funny than even the fake EDU brands that I had before. Because I mean, like, I didn't have any emotional attachment. No, excuse me. I take that back. I did have emotional attachment to the fake brands, but they were fake brands. With this, we've gotten meme after meme after meme. That's just we're just going off here. Seriously. Great time trucking today. Okay, we're probably going to wind up somewhere around 3 hours for the whole stream tonight, which is great because then I can get up, stretch, go through the stuff, and if I do a flight later, it just be really ultra chill. And if I do something else later, it can be ultra chill. Depending on what I do later, it might just like do really cool, comfy, casual, retro video gaming, or I might use my tiny computer. I don't know. I guess it depends on what I want to do, but I'm not trying to become some, big, full-on, like, I'm gonna be the next, Joy 94 streamer. Like, no. We already had the discussion. We're fine. I want to enjoy what I've been given. I want to feel like I've learned quite a bit over the past 2-3 months. And there are people and there are experiences that I miss. And basically, I'm just trying to do my best right now to not oversell the moment. Just enjoy what we have. Hey, look at that. I did get a chance to hop on the 101. There we go. The sky should start getting brighter in the next hour, which is when we're going to start getting really close to our destination. Trailer next to me is hauling a lot of stuff. Can't quite tell, but it looks like construction or farming equipment. Good times, good times. Sorry, I muted myself because I had to cough. That's cool. Just saw a billboard for the Louisiana map mod for the sim, which is cool. Wow, that's a pretty big piece of construction equipment out there. Wow. And just like that, we are going to exit the highway and take the local surface streets to our destination. So I think we just peeled off of 880 to go to our intended destination, and potentially, if we're going to take the Bay Bridge into Frisco, we might hop back on 880 to get where we need to go. Probably what we'll do. Oh, look at that, just crossed the railroad tracks as the train was coming through. Wow. Well, not that the train was crossing, but that the signs were about to come down. Yeah, truck versus train wins. So, no, I'm not interested in doing that. That's stupid. Another probably 30 minutes of game time to get to Frisco. I don't know. Not 100% sure. Got a bunch of cars behind me that want to turn left. That's interesting. one more turn. One more turn. That kind of caught me off guard. Oh, this is one of those just on time deliveries. Man, I'm glad I didn't like take breaks or something. Okay, it is here. All right, so where do I drop this off? I can back it into there, or I can play it safe, or I can just get in a hurry because I kind of don't care right now. Yeah, I don't care. All right, $18,719 for this trip. And does the current company have any job offers to take me to Frisco? It does not. Okay. External contracts? I could take Lemonade to Frisco. And I can deliberately take the I'm driving for UPS now. Let's go. I can take the Lemonade to Frisco, and I can go the long way. Now, this delivery is going to be a World of Trucks delivery because I chose it instead of freight. It's external contracts. So I will be electrically governed to go no more than 65. But considering I'm in Cali, the truck speed limit here is basically 55 miles an hour everywhere, that's not going to be a problem. All right, great. There we go. Pretty sure this is going to be the last delivery of the evening. We got one more haul. We're getting ourselves over to Frisco, and the sun is coming up. We're not going to be to Frisco when the sun rises, but we will be there in the AM. We've got an hour and 26 minutes, and if we want to do this the scenic route, then I'm going to need to go up through Oakland and take the Bay Bridge. So, let me kind of think to myself for a moment by looking at the map. All right. There we go. The map scale is not that big. So in theory, it's not going to take me that long to get from 880 to 580 to 80. So we just need to pay attention and watch the signs for the Bay Bridge to Frisco. And when we get to 880, we're going to basically hook a right. All right, one last ride. Oh wait, I gotta go this way. So, what can Brown do for you? He can get me to Frisco. That's what he can do. Uno mas, baby. We're almost to our destination. And to think that we started over in Arkansas today. Not today, but the stream. Crazy. So, it is getting brighter outside. And the sun will be at our back as we come into Frisco. We ride at dawn. Essentially what we're doing. I feel like we have enough gas to get to Frisco, so I don't feel like we need to refill anywhere. Nice charger. Is it foggy? That's kind of cool. It kind of looks cold out. That's neat. Now that's dope. I wasn't expecting to have the train come through right as we came in here. Let's go. Fantastic. Alright, we're going to hook a right here and take 880 to Oakland. And here we go. Hopping on to 880 and following that to 580 to follow that to 80 to cross into Frisco. Technical things. Bye-bye, Silicon Valley. Unless that's Redding, California. I forget. No. I thought it was just above San Jose. Nice to see the sun again. Alright, so 580, we gotta stay going westbound. To I-80 to Frisco. this is a huge elevated slab of highway. Good stuff. Okay. Grab your, virtual cameras. We're about to take the Bay Bridge to Frisco. Oh, wait, hold on. Which side is it? Can't quite tell. But we're gonna figure it out pretty quick. Alright, there we go. 80. Actually check something. Hold on. Any difference here? Let's see. Uppies? Wow. I can't see the bridge yet, but there's Oakland. There we go. Nice shot. Okay, so we just like bum rush through here. Come along, sir. Let's go. And so we come to the end of the westward adventure. I mean, after this it's just Frisco, and we pull in to our cargo destination, and that's it. Superb, man. It's not lost on me how much time we actually spent trucking and doing things today, and the estimate that I had for New Orleans to San Francisco was basically the same thing that happened because I went from Harrison to Fresno to San Jose to San Francisco. Now, one more shot here is going to do it. We're leaving, what do they call that? Treasure Island? And there's the outbound traffic. I don't see any. But look at this. Did I get stuck here? Hang on. There we go. The collision detection didn't let me go back to the road. Look at that. Wow. There's a shot. Let's see. do you have any coffee? Do you have any coffee? Can't see any coffee. It's like, what are you bothering other people for? Leave them alone, Digi. All right, now zoom out a bit. That's great, and then basically we'll look out the window here, and reset camera. Was it? Oh yeah. Y-axis, x-axis, move. Photo settings. What can I do? Depth of field. Here we go. Color balance. Nah, it's okay. It's okay. Don't have to worry about that. But that's a great shot. Welcome to San Francisco, everybody. Yeah, I don't know why my stuff is wrong, but I missed my exit, but that's okay. We will go this way. And we'll take Folsom Street, I think. the map scale meant I had to make a decision fast. Faster than I think I was prepared for it. That's kind of crazy. So the left exit that I would have done would have put me where those cars are coming out of right now. All right. So I think we're going to be at the Embarcadero. Good brakes. Frisco looks pretty. Really pretty, actually. Wow. The amount of attention these people had to have taken. Sounds like just looks so good. Wow. Can almost smell that coffee now. Ah, man. Thank you for sharing your time with me today, chat. Thanks for being a part of today's stream. We are zeroing in on our cargo destination. Do I make a left turn here? No. No, I think I keep going. Oh, no, wait. I'm confused. Wow. Gold Bay, public parking, and I think the destination will be on my right. Wow. Almost there. You have got to be kidding me. Wait, this was for Dollar General. Nice. It didn't even dawn on me. I just took the job real quick. Nice. Okay. All right. Where are we putting this? Let's see. There? No. Here? Yes. I'm okay. It I don't need to be doing crazy backup stuff right now. I'm happy. We got to our destination. And there we are, chat. Ring a ding ding. Hoofty, wow. So, with Alcatraz in the distance, we have arrived officially. Uh, Whoever shops at this Dollar General is probably going to be really happy that we brought the lemonade. I'm happy that I got here safely, mostly. And now we can unload and save our progress. All right, wasn't a very long haul, but we still made about 2,700 bucks of virtual money. I'm gonna go ahead and save this because real world brands are dangerous. Are danger. All right, Lost Lake, thanks so much for hanging out today. Really appreciate you and everybody that hung out, that lurked. Um, Again, stay tuned on Discord for more info, probably with regards to happenings next week. I will probably try to start incorporating more scenery dev updates next week. Maybe even messing with some of that tonight, but if it doesn't happen tonight or tomorrow, I'm not going to worry about it. There's a lot of programming things I'm going to be doing or trying to do, and I don't know. I don't know what the next few months are going to have in store for me. I'm just going to keep doing the best I can. A privilege streaming for you guys, and like I always like to say at the end of every stream, if you want true peace, you still need the Prince of Peace, and that's Jesus. My friends, I'm going to stretch my legs, make myself some coffee, do afternoon things, possibly go and get some brand name items that were targeted to me today while we hauled across the country. And yeah, that's it. Until next time, probably see you guys across the Twitchverse, and hope to see you on any other channel soon. Otherwise, if I don't catch you, have a superb rest of your weekend, and take care, my friends. Until next time, God bless you. Bye.